Chapter 56. He grabbed her shirt and held her tightly to him with the other hand so that he could kiss her. Deng Qianyu turned her face left and right to evade him and exclaimed in tears, "If you use force, I'll resist you to the death." They struggled for a long time, and Deng Qianyu still refused to yield. Sun said deceptively, "As you're unwilling, I won't force you. I'm just afraid that you'll change your mind after meeting your father tomorrow. Since my body already belongs to you, dear General, how could I change my mind? Just have pity on me. Let me see my father first, and then I will perform my duty as your wife. If I break my word, I'll certainly meet a violent death." Deng Qianyu hastily assured him, "If that be so, then please get up, dear," Sun said, helping her up gently. Deng Qianyu thought he was sincere. She got up and pushed his hands away. To her surprise, Sun suddenly grabbed her round the waist and lifted her up so that her arms hung over his shoulders. She was unable to struggle. "You're so tricky, General. How can you treat your bride like this? If I didn't, you would never stop resisting me, dear wife." Deng Qianyu closed her eyes and blushed. She did not utter another word, but allowed Sun to remove her clothes without further resistance. Lying under the quilt, she said, "General, I'm a virgin and understand nothing of making love. Please take good care of me. I've long admired your beauty. How could I dare treat you roughly?" Sun reassured her earnestly. At daybreak, they washed and dressed. Sun said, "Let's go to the front hall and thank Prime Minister Jiang and my master for making us husband and wife. What do you think, my dear? We must certainly thank them, but I wonder where my father is now. How can father and daughter serve different masters? Please consult Prime Minister Jiang about this problem." Deng Qianyu replied, "I'll talk to him about it." When they saw Jiang Ziya that morning, the Prime Minister said, "Though you're now a Zhou general, Deng Qianyu, your father remains our enemy. As you're his daughter, I can't very well send troops. What should we do? Deng Qianyu has just discussed this problem with me. We beg you to show compassion, uncle, and find a solution satisfactory to both sides." Earth Traveler Sun pleaded, "This isn't such a difficult matter. She may go to see her father and urge him to come over. But I don't know whether Qianyu is willing to go or not." Jiang Ziya said. Deng Qianyu walked up, knelt down, and said, "Since I belong to Zhou now, how can I waver in my loyalty? If you trust me, I'll be glad to persuade my father to surrender. I have no doubt about your loyalty, but I'm afraid your father may not be willing to join us. That would make matters worse. Take an army with you." Deng Qianyu thanked him, then left the city with an army and marched rapidly to Mount Qi. Deng Zhougong had gathered his defeated soldiers together and was holding a military conference with Deng Xiu, Tai Luan, Zhao Sheng, and Sun Yanhong. "I've never suffered such a terrible defeat. I've lost my darling daughter and don't even know whether she's dead or alive. Now we're like a goat caught in a fence, unable either to advance or retreat. What shall we do?" Deng Zhougong asked his generals sadly. "You may report the matter to His Majesty and request reinforcements. We must also find out the whereabouts of your daughter," General Tai Luan suggested. As they were discussing what course to take, a guard came in to report. "General Deng Qianyu is at the camp gate awaiting your orders. She's here with an army flying the Zhou flags." When she was admitted, Qianyu knelt before Deng Zhougong. Her father hastily helped her up and asked, "My child, what do you have to say?" "I dare not tell you, father," Deng Qianyu answered in tears. "What's wrong? Just tell me in detail, daughter. You thoughtlessly promised me to Earth Traveler Sun. You then induced Jiang Ziya to come to our camp so that he took me away by force and compelled me to marry Earth Traveler Sun. It's already too late for regrets," Deng Qianyu said worriedly. Deng Zhougong felt deep sorrow and remained silent for a long time. As son's wife, I've come to see you, Papa, only to help you avoid calamity. Don't you see, Father, King Zhou is so cruel that 2/3 of the kingdom has already turned to West Qi. The will of heaven is clear. Even the Mo brothers, Grand Tutor Wen, and the immortals couldn't escape destruction. I'm not your filial child anymore. I've come here as a minister of Zhou to tell you the truth about what's right and wrong, what's just and unjust. Who will ever believe that it was only a ruse to promise me to your enemy and induce Jiang Ziya to enter the Shang camp? Do you think the tyrant will spare your life after you've humiliated the country in this way? I've lawfully married a man on your own orders. I didn't elope with my lover against your will. If you abandon that wicked tyrant and serve a proper and just master, not only will our family be safe, but the people of the nation will also rejoice. As he listened to her arguments, Deng Zhougong became convinced that she was absolutely right. His outnumbered army could not launch another offensive, but if he returned to Zhaoge, he would certainly be suspected of treachery. He pondered for a long time and then said to Deng Changyu, "My child, I won't give you up. Nevertheless, I would be ashamed to enter West Qi and kneel before Jiang Ziya." "That's no problem, Father. Prime Minister Jiang is open-minded. If you would really like to come with me to Zhou, I'll leave first and tell him to come out to meet you." Deng Changyu reassured him. Jiang Ziya was overjoyed to hear her report. He ordered his attendants, "Line up the men. March out of the city to meet Commander Deng." He rode more than 1 li from the city and saw Deng Zhougong approaching at the head of his army. Jiang Ziya went up to meet him. "Greetings, Commander." Deng Zhougong bowed on his horse. "I'm not talented and ignorant. It's only right that you should condemn me. I come here today in complete submission. Will you forgive me, Prime Minister?" Jiang Ziya rode up and took his hand. "We're now ministers in the same court. Please don't speak like that." Deng Zhougong was deeply moved by his words. The two former enemies dismounted before the Prime Minister's mansion, entered the Silver Security Hall, and celebrated at a banquet with all the generals. Deng was led to see King Wu the following morning. As soon as the news of Deng's surrender reached Sishui Pass, Han Rong sent a report to Zhaoge. Supreme Minister Zhang Qian received it and immediately went to the inner palace to see King Zhou at the star-picking mansion. "What do you have to report to me, Minister? Tell me quickly." King Zhou commanded. "Here's a report from Han Rong of Sishui Pass. I dare not hide it from you. I beg you to pardon me, Your Majesty." Zhang Qian said timidly. "Never mind, Minister. Let me read it now." King Zhou said. He ordered his attendants to place the report on his dragon desk, and he began reading. But before he could finish, he flew into a rage. "How dare he? I'll ascend the throne right now and hold a conference." Zhang Qian withdrew and went downstairs. Soon drums and gongs were beaten loudly at the 9-chamber court, summoning all the ministers to gather for a conference. When the king arrived, he ascended his throne and his ministers moved forward and knelt before him, listening attentively. By my order, Deng Zhougong led a big army to West Qi. However, he has not only failed to defeat the enemy, but worst of all, he has permitted his daughter to marry an enemy general and surrendered unconditionally. His crime is unpardonable, and he must be arrested and punished according to the law. How shall we go about it? Fei Lian, a royal admonitor, left the ranks. As far as I can see, those who win, of course, feel happy. But those who suffer defeat feel compelled to surrender for fear of punishment. How can we subdue West Qi if things go on this way? This time pick a general closely related to you. Such a man will fight his hardest for you and refuse to surrender in the face of defeat. Such a man would fight until the final victory is his, as his fate is tightly bound to yours. The king and his ministers, like father and sons, are all equally close in their relationship. I've never discriminated against my ministers. King Zhou said. Allow me to recommend Su Hu, the Marquis of Jizhou, to your majesty. First, he's an imperial relative, and second, he's one of the leading noblemen in the country. He would certainly make every effort to win the war. Fei Lian continued. The king was overjoyed. You're quite right, minister. I fully agree with you. A royal decree, along with the white axe and yellow flag of office, was sent to Su Hu, appointing him to command the new expeditionary force. Did he win or lose? If you want to know, you must continue with the next chapter.